Hey everyone, it's Jonathan, and welcome to a bonus Animation Tangents episode. In December, I was joined by Larry Chilson and Eli Sanza to talk about Locksmith animation. Our episode on that Christmas came out around Christmas, and our episode on Ron's Gone Wrong will be coming soon. But before we even started recording, we basically accidentally made a whole other podcast just chatting about the state of animation in general this past year and some things to come in 2025. We had so much fun just chatting that I feel like this could be a thing in the future. The three of us just love animation in general, so we might have to purposely make another Tangents episode in the future. But today I figured I'd just give you this bonus episode as we ease into this new year, and we'll be back with more regularly scheduled podcasts next week.
Did either of you watch that animated Hellboy movie this year?
No, I
Oh no,
didn't.
I missed that.
I don't think I even knew there was one.
Oh yeah, it like got a very small theatrical release, and then I don't know where they dumped it after that because I haven't really seen it or heard about it. But
Right. I
right
think I
now I'm in
remember.
the debating phase on if I
Yeah.
want to force and torture myself and force myself to watch Megamind 2 to put into my animated films of 2024 ranking. Or just tell people looks too terrible and I couldn't get myself to watch it.
I think you can get a pass on that one because it wasn't released theatrically, right?
I
No,
think it was
thankfully.
Peacock only.
Yeah.
The only other thing is I'm at 19 right now. Like after Lord of the Rings today, I'll be at 19 animated movies this year. So I'm like, I kind of want around 20. So I don't know.
Oh,
It's
right.
the debate.
You're looking for a 20 right now.
Yeah, and I feel like the other ones, like spoiler alert, Despicable Me 4 right now is my last place.
Oh,
Which I don't think is like none of them are terrible on that list. It's one of those years where most of the animation this year I have found pretty kind of just middle of the road, and then the other ones, up from there. But I don't know that's what's also tempting is that Megamind gives me like a solid. I just know it's so bad that it will give me a solid rock bottom to kick things off with. But
I usually don't do a animated ranking until a few months into the year. So like I do last year's. That way I can
yeah,
purposely watch a bunch of bad movies. I like to get like 25 to 30 movies and just make sure I've got some bad ones to be at the bottom of the list. So I'm definitely watching Megamind too.
Mm,
I
yeah.
haven't watched it yet. I figure I'll save that till last minute, put off the pain as long as I can.
I
Yeah.
know that's been me. I was like, oh God, I heard people talk about it, and I was like, oh well, because I was a little bit, I was like, okay, well maybe, and then I saw the like look of it, I was like, oh, okay, this is like a TV level sequel.
Mm,
Okay, yeah, this animation is a huge step down from the original Megamind, and
Mhm.
then I heard
yeah.
people talk about it and just that it was absolutely horrible. So I was like, oh God, I haven't watched it.
Yeah, and I loved the original, so
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to seeing how they massacred him.
Yeah. Well, watch a Megamind 2 as a last resort if you can't find any other 20th
Another
film.
20. I know I have
Yeah.
to search through the archive. I feel like there was a couple other indie releases. Thankfully, like being, part of the awards thing, I've gotten screener links to it two that don't actually release in the United States until next year. Yay.
Yeah.
That are on the list that I'm gonna feel weird putting a video out in December where most people who watch it are gonna be like, that Looney Tunes movie has not come out yet.
Yeah.
I don't know what this anime, The Colors Within movie is because it's not out in the United States yet. But
Right.
there's always those. I remember like Robot Dreams last year not coming out until frickin' May was ridiculous.
Yeah. Like I just saw that one in like spring or summer this year for the first time because it was like playing in the theater near me. It was like so it was crazy right after the Oscars, right after it was nominated. It's weird timing.
I haven't watched it yet, but I bought the Blu-ray.
The worst Oscar release I think I've ever seen. Like, you're an indie film, you have to capitalize on getting that Oscar nomination when
Yeah,
people
that
at least are seeing your movie in the mainstream with the Oscars, and they just were like, nah, we'll wait a couple months.
Mhm.
When everyone's forgotten about our Oscar nomination and all that.
I think they just had. I just think they didn't have faith in that movie. Like they never have faith in like a lot of indie films. I think this one was maybe like, oh, this won't be commercially successful, and I think they were just like scared of it or something.
There was such a huge vacuum too. Like we didn't have any animation between December up through Kung Fu Panda 4 in March. So they could have just released it in, February. And
Yeah,
they wouldn't have been worse off for it. They would have been, it's not like they could have made any less money than they did. So I don't know.
yeah,
It was wild.
yeah. It is. You saw the Wallace and Gromit film, Vengeance Most Foul, right, Larry?
Yes. Yeah. Also
Okay,
that one, which doesn't release in the US till January 1st.
right. But that's why I was asking if you saw it, but you got to see it at least. Yeah.
It did. I really liked it.
I can't wait. I'm gonna watch it on Netflix. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too.
I'm kind of shocked that Chicken Run for me is like definitively the weakest of the like sequel movies to Aardman Animation. Like Shaun the Sheep
Uh,
movies, second movie I really enjoyed. Wallace and Gromit I really enjoyed. Chicken Run was fine. Like I thought it was, solid. It was fine, but I don't
yeah.
know. I'm like
I was disappointed by the Chicken Run sequel.
me
I'm
too.
like
I was like, wow.
I wanted to like it.
I don't think I was disappointed in the moment, but thinking back on it, I've kind of forgotten most of it, so I feel like that doesn't speak well of it.
Right.
Yeah, it was just like it's fine. Again, it's fine. It looked really good. Like I thought there was some really good stop motion animation, but the story was like okay. It's
Mm.
Yeah.
very similar to the first one.
Mm.
Also, it's like Palpatine has returned type of villain.
Oh
You're like,
yeah.
oh, okay, cool. And then, wow, the rooster role is just cursed, huh? Going from Mel Gibson to Zachary Levi, just a cursed voice role.
It
We
really
got to keep our
is.
eye on whoever takes that role if they do a third one.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. I think like the thing that you said about like the villain returning, I think that is something that a lot of people have trouble pulling off because I don't like the villain returns are tricky to pull off, and I don't think they do it well a lot.
Yeah, especially like if you kill your villain or seemingly kill off your villain, it's definitely hard to find a good way to
Yeah.
bring it back where people aren't
Oh,
just like,
definitely.
okay.
Definitely when you're killing them, but even like when you finish the story and it's like it's a good ending, it's a satisfying ending, and then the villain comes back and it's like, oh, that ending meant nothing, I guess now. Like,
Yeah.
it's like
And
so
also, it's like chickens, theoretically, any human is a chicken enemy. Like literally, the world is kind of a danger for chickens. So we could have anyone be the main antagonist against this group of chickens.
right, right. They could have had some creativity with that, but they had to fall back on the old villain.
And I didn't like that guy. I don't know. I didn't really love that new guy that she kind of was like manipulating the like chicken nugget guy.
Oh yeah, yeah, right. Not as good as the last one. Oh, a
No,
lot of people
yeah,
thought
I
that
mean,
movie.
she was a great villain. I agree. I loved her in the first
Yeah,
one. I didn't mind her in the second one. She was fun, but it also was like, okay, well, sure, I guess.
yeah.
Have you all had the opportunity to see Flow yet? Has it opened anywhere near you?
I
No.
haven't. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
I'm
No,
going
and
to
I'm like,
just
this is,
assume that I won't get to see it till it's on Blu-ray because I live in the middle of nowhere, Iowa. So, but
Mm.
once in a while, when I used to live in Ames, which is a bigger city, once in a while I would get something good, like something would come to the theater, but it doesn't really happen here. If I keep an eye on Omaha, maybe I could go see it, but I don't know if it would even come to Omaha.
yeah.
Are there only mainstream theaters near where you live, Jonathan?
There's only one tiny small town four-screen theater near where I live. The nearest one after
Oh,
that is like almost an hour away.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I feel for you. Yeah.
yeah, you sure live in the middle of nowhere.
Pretty much.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Most of the time that's fine, but it's hard when you like movies and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You don't get a whole
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah,
Thank God for streaming at least.
Yes,
yeah.
I prefer the theater, but the streaming is at least a consolation prize, I guess.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, hopefully Flow gets a good, some kind of release post theatrical. Well, again, speaking of Oscars, if it gets that Oscar nomination, which it
Yeah,
should, then hopefully they capitalize on it better because they're out in front of it better at least right now. So,
yeah.
Mhm.
Hopefully.
how about Memoirs or Memoir of a Snail? Have you gotten to see that one yet, Eli?
No, I heard a bunch of good things about it. And the person who made that, wasn't that the same person who made Mary and Max?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that movie, and so I want to watch this, but I haven't gotten the chance to see it yet. You liked it?
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit as well. It's gonna be a
Okay.
good Oscar lineup, I think. We have like a good at least top like 6, 7 movies. So as long as
Yeah, that
they don't pull what the Golden Globes did and throw Moana 2 in there, then I think we'll be good.
yeah. Oh, I saw your video about that. Like, I agree that Moana 2 was like the one that seemed like it didn't belong. It's like you said
Yeah.
Transformers 1 should have been nominated.
Yeah, I would have thrown Transformers 1 in over Moana 2, but
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like that's another one where it's like I didn't hate it. I know I see a lot of people that really are just like hated Moana 2. I didn't quite hate it or, think of it on that level, but I just love that first one so much that this one was a pretty big disappointment.
Yeah. When you
I,
compare it to the first one, it just doesn't measure up, I
Yeah.
hear.
I haven't seen it yet, but I have a feeling I'm going to feel the same way, just
Yeah,
based on other
I
people's
adore
reactions.
it. Yeah, I adore that first film. I love it. And this one, I was like, okay, well, I mean, you knew though. At least, at least they broke the news to us early on that this was supposed to be a TV series that they just kind of
Yeah.
put together to make a movie. So at least I
Hmm.
could temper my expectations right off
Yeah.
the bat and be like, oh, okay.
I would have been,
But
I
you're
would have
like,
been, I would have been more angry if they tried to hide that. Yeah.
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 But you're like, Disney, I don't get it. Like, did they just not realize how popular Moana was? Like, did they just, I don't know, did they underestimate the character and how much people like love that first movie and not look at how far I'll go and see that it has billions of streams and like, come on. So why wouldn't they just create a sequel to begin with? Why didn't they even think of the sequel? Why'd they go to a TV series first? I don't know. I think
I
that's very weird.
I hear that from some people that like when they first like decided to greenlight the idea years ago to make a TV series, that was back in the days when streaming was still like popular and the bubble didn't pop yet. And then once like the bubble did pop and like they realized that streaming was just a money pit, then Disney was like, okay, let's take this Moana TV show and turn it into something that might actually make money, like a movie. And that's the theory I hear.
Which, I mean, it did. So they, I know they're
It
happy
worked.
with that decision right now.
Yeah, it worked. Like maybe not artistically, but it worked commercially.
I hope it doesn't teach them the wrong lesson.
Me
Yeah.
too. Me
Like
too.
I, like I was mentioning to somebody, the only good thing, you'll never make me upset at Moana 2's success just because, especially right now with people trying to blame, diversity and wokeness on things failing, having
Yeah.
a female protagonist of color in a group that we never get leads in.
Mm.
Uh, I still
Yeah.
can't be mad seeing Moana 2 break records because it's like, well, at least we have that. I don't.
Yeah, no, I agree. I said the same thing. I was like, Moana 2, it's not the kind of I doubt I'll like it like based on the reviews I'm seeing, but like I'm not mad that it's successful and I'm glad that it's like breaking records and everything because like one movie's success is like great for the entire film industry.
I have to hope that they now understand how popular the character is. I hope, and this hopefully we'll see if it tanks the character's popularity. I don't know, but and if they choose to do a third one, which if Disney's recent announcements say anything, they will. Um,
Hmm.
they go in with a plan for a third movie, and
I,
maybe we can have a nice bounce back.
I almost want them to make a Moana 3 just so that they can actually make it from scratch as a film.
Yeah. And bring
Yeah.
Lin-Manuel Miranda back.
Yeah, well, God, please, like, please.
Please,
And I'm not
please.
saying that as someone with an opinion on the songs because I haven't seen it yet, but like he was to me that was integral to the movie. Like his songs made the movie.
Yes. That soundtrack was one of the best soundtracks since like the Disney Renaissance, in my opinion.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's so good. And, obviously after Encanto, it's like, come on now. I mean, Little Mermaid, we took a little bit of a step back for Lin-Manuel with the Disney songs and his original takes on Disney songs for The Little Mermaid. We'll see about Mufasa. I actually didn't even realize he had done the songs for
I
Mufasa
didn't
until
until today. I just saw his name on an ad or something. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty recent. So I was like, oh, he was doing Mufasa instead of Moana 2, but that's because Moana 2 was a series, so they didn't get him. They didn't even have the original voice cast come in to do the roles until earlier this year to come in and do the voice. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was just watching, and it's like there's a song, two songs maybe that are good. I'd say good, and the rest are just like overall it's just really forgettable stuff. So it's like
Yeah.
back to the old. I guess this is back to the old days of Disney, right? Back to the straight to streaming or straight to VHS days of
Oh
Disney
yeah.
sequels.
I heard some people comparing Moana 2 to like the straight to video sequels. And,
Where it's like Jafar, where there's like, oh, this is a TV series that we just decided to like patch together for a movie, even though the third Aladdin I think is better. But
yeah.
yeah.
That's what I'm hearing. Like they'd literally done that before with like Atlantis, the Lost Empire sequel. That straight to video sequel was originally 3 episodes of a TV show, and they put it together into a movie because the movie was unsuccessful. So they canceled the TV show. So we have to do something with these episodes, and so the same thing happened back then.
Didn't they do that with Tarzan too? Didn't they have a Tarzan series in the works that they patched together into a movie?
And then they did a Tarzan series as well, right? Because I remember watching it growing up, the
Yeah.
Tarzan show.
They did do a Tarzan series. Tarzan
When he was
2,
little.
Tarzan. I don't think Tarzan 2 was made up of episodes of the series, but there was a straight to video movie called Tarzan and Jane that was made up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what you're
Oh,
thinking of.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember the series when he was a little kid.
Yes.
I might have them if they're included on my Blu-ray, because like a lot of those Blu-rays like from 10 years ago or so had the extra movie on there, which most
Oh,
of them I
they
haven't even watched yet. I watched the main
they
movie and
made
forgot
you
about the
buy
sequels.
them, didn't they? Disney said, we're going to force you to own this sequel, this random direct sequel. We're going to
Yeah.
package it in with the classic that
Yeah.
you actually want to buy and
Pretty
force you.
much.
You're going to own this sequel.
Yeah.
The only
Oh
one
my
I think
God.
we actually liked was Kronk's New Groove, packaged alongside The Emperor's New Groove.
I mean, yeah, Kronk's New Groove wasn't bad, but it wasn't as good as Emperor's New Groove. I think most
Oh
people
yeah.
agree. Yeah.
I mean, that's how I feel about even the best ones. Like, I like The Lion King too, but obviously it's nowhere near as good as The Lion King. Even Lion
Oh
King
yeah.
1.5 is a lot of fun, but not
Right.
anywhere near Lion King. Like
I don't think I've ever
Yeah.
seen Lion King 1.5. I've some of those I'm decided I'm just gonna wait until I get to them in the podcast because like I'm doing the
Oh.
Disney canon in order along with their sequels. So I figure I'll just
Yeah.
wait and watch it then.
While it's fresh in your mind.
Yeah.
Lion King 2 has some bops though. See, that's one of the ones where I was like, okay, they came with the music at least for this sequel. They were ready.
Yeah. There are actually songs in The Return of Jafar that I thought were pretty good. Like
Yeah.
they don't do bad a lot of the time.
I haven't
We'll
seen
see.
those
And
in years, decades.
in recent times, I know that they're really divisive, but I liked Ralph Breaks the Internet. I know
I
a lot of
like
people
it.
a lot of people hate Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Yeah,
I
I
like
know. I
Ralph
don't
Breaks
get
the
it. I think I liked a lot of it better than the first one.
Me too. I'm in this club that you two are also in. I liked that one a lot. I am one of the few people who thought it was better than Wreck-It Ralph, which is the most controversial opinion, I guess. But like, I just liked it better. I thought it was better directed and better written.
Well, I'm kind of that way with Frozen. I think I like Frozen 2 more than I
Me
like
too.
Frozen 1.
And it's not just
Same
the
with-
story, it's the songs. I just love that soundtrack.
Yeah. Like Frozen 2, I also kind of like that one more than Frozen. Not a lot more. They're both kind of like the same quality, I think, but
Yeah.
like Frozen 2 is slightly better. I do agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I think it's just maybe because they went in knowing who the villain was going to be, so it doesn't have like this kind of odd, what do we do, like Elsa story for the first part, or like a little bit confused on which way are we taking this woman, and this love story and all that. But no,
Right.
yeah. And it's gorgeous, gorgeous. Frozen 2 looks
Yeah.
stunning, which Moana
Yeah.
2 looks stunning as well. But even that, I mean, because everybody's praising the animation, but I'm going back and rewatching like the first Moana. It's already so beautiful that I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't think they actually improved on the animation of the first one. If anything, it kind of stayed put. But
Hmm.
God,
Yeah.
that first Moana is just so like amazing to look at that you're like, I don't know. We'll see with
Yeah.
Zootopia 2. I'm nervously optimistic about Zootopia 2, so we'll see.
Did
Right.
that start as a movie or was that a TV
Yeah.
series? Because I know they
They
had a
also have a
TV
TV series. They
series,
have both in development.
but it was just like little shorts. It wasn't like a show, right?
It
Or
was.
Yeah,
was there something
yeah.
else?
They
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
to.
It was
They're
like,
doing a like burrow like one, right? Where they kind of go to the different little burrows. But yeah, the second movie I think was initially just developed as a movie. That's why I was
Okay.
so
yeah.
stunned. I was like, "Come on now, Moana 2." That's even when they did the stupid live action announcement. I was like, they really announced a live action Moana before they started doing a sequel to Moana. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was so worried about Moana 2 because like when you hear that it started out as a TV show, like there are a lot of implications behind that. Okay, is this gonna be terrible or something? Like, yeah.
I'm
And
just
like
so
Larry said, it
hopeful.
wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I'm so hopeful that Mufasa bombs. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's looking. I saw those tracking numbers and I said, "Ooh, Disney, that's the lesson you need to learn. First of all, we're sick of live action. But second, the big lesson, don't make a sequel. Because look at what
Yeah.
happens with like Alice in Wonderland, $1 billion movie. Sequel absolutely bombed at the
It
box office.
totally.
And this isn't even really a sequel, it's a prequel, and
Yeah,
it's
it's a
kind of
prequel.
baffling from the trailers anyway.
Oh
Unless they have
God,
some
that
sort of a twist
oh
planned, it seems like a really
that
weird choice the way they're going with it.
that adoption story, I was like, what? Why are we doing this? Why? What? Mufasa was adopted? This is
Uh,
stupid.
Yeah, that seems unnecessary.
It seems so dumb, but I'm like, okay, so hopefully this Sonic is on track right now to beat Mufasa opening weekend at the box office. And it's like,
To the to the
y'all
surprise
in
of
danger.
nobody.
Like,
Yeah.
yes, the original Lion King rode the nostalgia because we all adore Lion King, obviously. It doesn't mean we wanted a live action Mufasa prequel. And also, most people did not like that Lion King live action. Nobody's rewatching that crap. So,
Nah, nah.
why did you make a sequel or prequel?
Because it made
They made it
billion dollars
because
or
it made it
whatever.
$1 billion.
I know.
That's why. Like,
But these people, I guess they just don't understand. Joker, they had to learn the lesson the hard way too. Just because you make $1 billion doesn't mean people want to come back.
yes, they learned that lesson with Alice in Wonderland. They learned it with Joker, and it doesn't always work.
Captain Marvel had to learn that lesson. I mean, a lot
Yeah.
of these movies is like, oh, well,
Yeah.
okay. Even though I like the Marvels, so whoop.
Me
I
I
still
too.
haven't
actually like the
seen it.
Marvels more than Captain Marvel.
I bought the Blu-ray and I set it on my shelf and I still haven't watched it.
That's
Like,
another one I think is a lot more fun than the first one.
That's kind of what I thought, but also I still haven't watched the show, the Miss Marvel show.
Oh, Miss
And I'm
Marvel.
like,
It's
I
uh,
need
fun
to watch
too.
that first. And so I need
yeah.
to find time to watch the show so that I can watch the movie.
Yeah, that's the tough one with that one is it's not one of the Marvel movies you can skip the show. Like, you have
That's
to
that's
kind
kind of what
of
I thought, which is also what I think hurt the movie to begin
yes,
with.
I agree.
I think I agree. That's what probably hurt the movie commercially. I think that Marvel was overestimating how dedicated like mainstream audiences were to like following every single aspect of the Marvel universe on TV and film.
Yeah.
And I've kind of fallen off of keeping up with it. Like I think the last thing I saw was Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and
Oh.
the shows
Right.
or even before that, like I still haven't watched I was going to call it Moonraker, but that's not it.
Oh, Moon Knight.
That's
Moon Knight.
Moon
I
Knight.
still need to
Yeah.
watch that, and I've got friends who aren't in like the movie scene who've told me that I should watch it because it's so good. So I need to watch that too.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I had
so
fallen
far
off a bit
behind.
too, but I
Oh, I
came
guess
back
I
for
did
Agatha.
watch. I am in the middle of Agatha. I need to finish that, and I watched Deadpool and Wolverine the other day.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
get it out of the way because, like, I don't love Deadpool, but I wanted to watch that, and I liked it better than I thought I was going to. So I guess that's
Oh, good.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I don't usually like violence and gore and stuff, and there's just too much of that in Deadpool. But his
Right.
Yeah.
his humor does amuse me. So
Yeah, he's got a kind of like Bugs Bunny-esque sense of humor that I like.
Now Ryan
maybe
Reynolds is like
that's
enemy number one of Twitter.
what is. Oh,
They hate him on
Yeah,
film Twitter.
everybody hates Ryan Reynolds on film Twitter. You're right. Yeah.
I haven't like gone to Twitter to just be on Twitter in ages, so I don't know what they've decided to hate these days.
And you're not missing anything.
Kind of like with Waika Waititi, like how that turn happened with Taika Waititi. It's kind of what I feel like happens with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
That
I
happened
don't
to
know.
Lin-Manuel Miranda too, and Anne
Lin-Manuel.
yeah.
Hathaway. It's
It's
like
like I
Twitter
don't know.
just decides somebody is worth hating, and so everybody decides they have to hate them now, and I don't
I
get
think yeah.
why.
I don't know why. It's just people like to pile on people for like being successful and or something like that. I don't know.
I've never understood the Lin-Manuel. I think it's because people find him corny as a person, but I'm like,
That,
who cares?
that's what I heard. I heard he was like quote unquote cringe for some reason. I don't know.
Like, okay, but look,
I,
Moana 2 making you miss him now because
yeah,
I don't care if
exactly.
you're cringe. I'm gonna need him back in the writer's room for that next Moana movie, please.
I always liked him. I never agree with film Twitter, so like I'm a very much an outlier.
The most cringe thing he did was put that damn what's it called? That scuttlebutt into
Oh
Little
right,
Mermaid 2. That was the cringe to me. But everything else, I'm like,
right.
okay, what's
Yeah,
leave
yeah,
him
like
alone.
yeah, that he deserves. Like he made the Moana soundtrack. He deserves to make at least one scuttlebutt. He gets to like bomb on something.
The other songs in Little Mermaid were fine, just not like memorable to me. But that scuttlebutt, I was like, oh Lord, this is crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
but the
I know you like to rap, and Aquafina likes to think she's a rapper, but my
yeah.
God, this is wild.
Overall, that live action Little Mermaid movie wasn't bad though.
Yeah, it was
It was
way
all
better than I
right.
thought it was going to be.
They
Yeah,
definitely, I think what they did well was kind of make you understand why these two people were drawn to each other and then kind of
Hmm.
hmm
develop their romance. So, like, from the romance perspective, I think it's actually better than the original Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's the
It's
other
more
stuff that
developed.
I think not as good. Like Ursula, to me, not as good.
Oh no, it's like
Oh, God.
I have to agree. I have to agree with
Ooh,
you on
that
that.
change they made to Poor Unfortunate Souls made me so mad. I was like, are we serious
Uh,
right now? We just took out the best verse of the frickin' song because it's quote unquote problematic. Because she's saying body language and talking about how men who like a quiet woman, she's a frickin' villain. Like, what
I
are
was
we
I was just
doing? This
gonna
is
say, why
crazy.
can't she like it's
she's
this
a
was never
villain.
framed as like a good thing that she's saying. She's literally the
Yeah.
villain.
And then I
Exactly.
was like, oh God, it annoyed me so bad. But
Yeah.
and then like some of the stuff like part of not part of your world. What is it? Under the
Uh,
Sea. So sonically, I love that they added what's her name into Ariel singing along. But when you think about it, story wise, you're like, why the hell's Ariel singing? Like she's trying to like get out of here, and here she is jamming and singing and doing all this. Like it doesn't really
yeah.
make sense that Ariel is like singing in the song, but it sounded good because Halle
Yeah.
Bailey. Oh my God, what a see! This, for me,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. If you had criticism after watching The Little Mermaid about her casting, I don't know what to tell you because that's like the most perfect case
Yeah.
of just blind casting because she was perfect for a
Hmm.
live
Yeah.
action Ariel. Like she was the perfect Ariel,
He
Hmm.
was
you know?
that's what Rob Marshall, the director, said that she had the best voice. She was Ariel. Like, gosh.
Even just the way
And
she was, it was like she was so perfect, like the big wide-eyed expressions, like everything. I was like, no, she was
yeah,
the perfect casting for
I
Ariel.
love she's nothing she was not the problem with the movie. She was perfect. Everything about her was perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, some of the visual effects, that was some of the biggest problems with the movie. But
That the movie it was a flawed movie. It wasn't perfect. There were things about it I didn't like,
no, but
but
it was definitely better than I think every one of us were expecting.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Now that Snow White movie. Whew.
Yeah. I think it helps that it wasn't a one-to-one remake. Like it wasn't just
Yeah.
exactly remaking the animated film,
Yeah.
which is one reason that I went to see The Lion King, the remake, because it was like they kept saying that this isn't a one-to-one remake. It was basically a 1-to-1
It
remake.
was
That
it was
that was such
close
a
to
lie.
it.
That was such a lie. Like it was so similar. They repeated the same exact
That's
dialogue.
like literally probably the closest one that they've done so far. That
It
is
was.
just literally just remaking the film again, making it a little bit longer, which you know, when I look at something like that, I'm like, what did they add here? Because it's quite a bit longer than the original Lion King, but it's exactly the same. Like, I don't know, it's kind of
Yeah, it
baffling.
was weird.
Baffling. The thing that baffled me the most about that movie was remember how they cast James Earl Jones in the exact same role as Mufasa for that movie? Like he recited the same dialogue that he did in the animated one, but it was like less character and it
Older.
was more boring. And it was like, why are you bringing him back to do a worse version of his old lines? This was so
Can't you
strange.
just pay him royalties and just reuse this audio footage from the animation? If we're gonna do the same exact line readings, just pay him money and let him stay home. Like,
I That would have been better, I think. Yeah, oh, you're right. Like, we're gonna have to recite the same exact line.
God,
That was,
that Mufasa movie, I'm just really like, oh goodness, But
yeah.
I think they have two bombs in a row in their future, so I don't know when are they going to learn the lesson with these live action remakes? Because even The Little
Oh,
Mermaid did well, but it didn't do well like the rest of the Renaissance remakes have done. Like, you know, even Aladdin, it didn't even get to Aladdin numbers, so
yeah.
they're teetering off now. Snow White, I think, is going to bomb like
I, I
bad.
oh, I have a feeling. Like, I have a feeling it's not gonna do well. So
And
yeah.
it pains me a little bit because anytime Rachel Zegler bombs at the box office, I feel like the little incels are like cheering and happy because they
Mhm.
hate her.
Yeah.
So I hate to see her bomb, but my God,
Right.
that movie looks so bad. And Disney, they need to know that this deserved to bomb.
I, th-
So
I think it would help if there were humans. Like I think that's the every time I see somebody talking about it online, the first thing they talk about is the creepy dwarves.
The creepy dwarf.
you know why
Yeah.
that happened, don't you?
Like they said they weren't going to be dwarves, and then they were going to be like there was a whole I don't even know. It was like one
Oh,
they kept changing it.
Well, part of it is Peter Dinklage
Peter
came
Dinklage.
forward
Yeah.
and was like, I don't want little people to just play dwarves. I think it's offensive, blah, blah, blah. But then other little people actors were like, don't listen to him.
They were like, "Oh, shut
Or
up.
like, we want a job. Like, this is a
We want a
great
job."
way. This is a great way to get us into a big motion picture, blah, blah, blah. But the damage had already kind of been done. Disney was scared. So they reworked it to put, yeah, they kind of thought about not doing them as dwarves and calling them slightly something else. But then they changed their mind again and decided instead of doing little people actors, we're just going to do CGI. And it's like, oh my God, just
I
a
swear,
rabbit hole of nonsense.
I swear to God, Disney is way too scared of offending people. I think it's like paralyzing them almost creatively.
And it's like I understood what Peter Dinklage meant, but it's also like when you're the far and away the most famous little person
Hmm.
actor, of course you can get any role you want. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna cast you in roles that they didn't design for little people, and they're gonna cast you in whatever because you're
Mhm.
Peter Dinklage. But
Right.
you just ruined a ton of job opportunities for people who don't have that opportunity,
Yeah.
and it kind of sucks. So
Yeah, and it would have looked better than CGI
much
dwarves
better.
too. So he even ruined the movie in an artistic sense in a way.
And it's always like I think what they never understand is it's not necessarily usually depending on what you're doing, obviously, but in something like this, it's not the casting per se like that. I think it's actually more offensive to cast like normal sized people for these dwarf positions. It's like the offensive thing to do, but really
Right.
it's not about casting little people as dwarves in a fantasy that has them already there. It's just about the representation. You know, like don't
Yeah.
make them a joke. Don't make, you know, make them actual characters in your film. That's how
Hmm.
you like it's not offensive. It's like an actual honor to play these characters. And
Yeah.
I think that's so often what gets misconstrued. It's like, no, no, no. It's how you develop the character, not that they're dwarves, you know? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
all about the writing. You just have to write them well, and then it's fine.
Ugh, but it reminds me of those damn fairies in Maleficent. Like,
Oh
and
Oh
how
yeah.
yeah.
horrible. Like, they look so horrible.
Like I didn't even hate Maleficent, but they ruined the fairies.
Oh, God. They're
Right.
horrible.
The fairies were
Yeah.
the best part of the, or one of the best parts. Like I love Maleficent, so they were one of my favorite things about the original. But then in the new one, they were the far and away the worst part of the new Maleficent movies. They were not the same characters. They were just stupid.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just like these bumbling idiots. You're like, oh, okay. Um, how did they? I mean, what? I don't know. Sure. Yeah, Maleficent. I don't know. I didn't love the sequel as much as I wanted to, but I didn't hate it either.
Hmm.
It was an interesting sequel, the Maleficent sequel.
Yeah.
And what a perfect casting choice, though.
Oh,
Angelina Jolie was amazing as Maleficent.
She just devours. So good in that first one specifically. But yes, if only they let her be evil for
mhm.
like more than 5 minutes of that first movie.
Yeah, that's another thing they're scared of, making the villains villainous. That's the thing they also hate doing.
That's what they're doing. I'm like, do we need to see again Scar? Do we need a movie where he's like, "Oh, brotherly love," and they're not even really brothers? I don't know. We understand Scar's backstory. We understand why he is the way he is in The Lion King. They make it abundantly clear in The Lion King. He's one
Yeah.
of the better fleshed out villains where you understand why he feels the way he feels just in general. Like,
Hmm.
so what are we doing?
Yeah, unnecessary, that's what I say. But
Unnecessary, but at least they learned the lesson from Sonic with Stitch and made him look like Stitch and like a
yeah,
Yeah.
cute
yeah.
version. Thank God. I know we were all nervous, especially seeing, like all them little animals in The Little Mermaid. Seeing
Yeah,
little
right.
freaking flounder being this like just fish swimming around
Little,
with his little mouth moving. You're like, what the hell? Um at least
yeah,
they learned from Sonic. You have give him big eyes. We have to make Stitch look like the cartoon.
yeah. Don't make Sonic look like an actual hedgehog just with a computer animated mouth, or something like that. Like
You
you
know,
have
people
to
get
like
mad when fans
It'd be
do that and
hilarious if they
bully.
had done that.
If they
like
had done
something
an
out of
actual hedgehog, I would have kind
It's
of
like
hollered.
parody.
I would have had to respect the grind a little bit. But if they did it after Disney did it, and just had a literal hedgehog running around, but oh,
like
that was blue for some
like
reason.
something out of Babe.
Oh my God, the thing is like especially the Sonic characters, they look almost nothing. Like literally if you just put them in front of me and I had no context, I would never guess what animal they were supposed to be.
No, me
Yeah,
neither.
Like a
yeah,
part like
exactly.
Knuckles does not look like an echidna at
Not at
all.
not at all.
Oh, I keep
And
forgetting
they
he's a
don't look
different
like
creature.
hedgehogs. Yeah, he's a
Forgot he's
different
a
species
hedgehog.
entirely. Little Knuckles.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
they look nothing like it. So I'm
yeah.
like, that was one of the best cases, though. I know people always get mad when studios listen to fans, like, oh, fan service. But ooh, I think
That was
they're happy and we're happy that they
yeah.
listen to us bullying them after they released that first Sonic trailer.
That was the one time I didn't mind the fan interference. That was good because of, like they should have done that in the first place. Embrace the cartooniness. If it
It
were up
seems
to
like
me, it
something
would
you
have just
wouldn't, you shouldn't have needed the fans to tell you. I would have thought it would have just been
Bully you
obvious.
into doing.
yeah. I mean, if it were up to me,
Oh,
it would have just been like Roger Rabbit and the characters would have all just been hand drawn, but that was asking too much. But this is I'm fine with.
yeah. We'll see with this little Lilo and Stitch. It looks more fun than a lot of the other more recent animation
Hmm.
remakes. So maybe that'll be
Yeah.
their saving grace next year.
I
We'll
hope
Because again,
so.
see.
God, I am not
We'll,
looking forward to Moana the live action,
Oh,
especially
me
after seeing those
neither.
set photos of Dwayne the Rock Johnson in that outfit, in that
mm,
costume. I was like, what in the world? Like, okay, okay,
I'm
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want them to be good. I'm sort of rooting for them, but like if they are actually good, then sure, fine, make it. But like most of the time, they can't. They don't do a good job justifying their existence, other than just, oh, we can make money off this, and that a turn off,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the How to Train Your Dragon next year.
right?
I
That
I
one,
mean,
yeah,
again, at least Toothless looks really good, but he looks like it looks like The Lion King, where you're kind of like,
Yeah.
That trailer tells me this is a shot for shot. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
this is exactly the same as the animated movie, which is perfect.
Wow.
So I don't understand. I do respect the director when they asked him that he was like, no, I mean, they were hell bent. They were going to make the live action movie. It was their choice. They were going to do it one way or another. So I signed on in hopes to at least make it as good as it can be, you know? So I was like, I
Yeah.
Right.
respect that. I
I
respect the
respect that.
director for
Yeah.
being like, if you're gonna make my movie again, I'm gonna make it then.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you just
At
look at it
least.
and you're like,
Yeah. I'm nervous about that one.
I'm glad they didn't go too again hyper realistic with Toothless and kind of kept him
Yeah.
looking like the cartoon version, the
Yeah.
Yeah, he
animated
looks
version.
very similar to the
'Cause
animated
he's
one.
already
Yeah.
perfect.
I'll be
Yes.
interested to see what the other dragons look like because there's some weird dragon designs in those movies.
Hmm.
Oh God,
We'll
I
see.
just thought about like the twins in live action are probably gonna be just. I can't.
We'll see.
They
It might.
already push it in the original trilogy a little bit with those twins on what they do with them as comedic relief. I cannot with live action versions, but
Oh God. Yeah.
I also love everybody getting so outraged over Egret. And you're like, you realize she's voiced by a Latina, yes? Like the
Right.
animation, yeah, she's drawn pretty white, but a Latina is behind the mic.
Yeah. Do they know America Ferrera voiced her? Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
And it's not even like, I mean, they cast a pretty light skinned black actress in that role.
Yeah. By the way,
So, you know,
you know how they are.
People just need things to complain about. It gets old.
always
Exactly.
constantly. It's so like, oh my
That's the
God.
main reason I don't go on Twitter anymore.
And you're not missing anything. It's good that you aren't
Honestly.
on.
Right. Well, we ready to talk about that Christmas?
That Christmas, let's get to it. Yeah.
I suppose. I feel like I've already got a podcast of just random
Right?
animation
Just us.
stuff.
Whenever you need a random
Yes.
complaining podcast, a bonus episode of
Yeah.
what Jonathan, Larry, and Eli think is the problem in modern
Yeah.
day animation
Yeah.
film
Release it as
landscape.
release it as a bonus episode. Yeah.
Maybe it can be like in January to give me more of a break. So I usually
Yeah.
take most of January off anyway, so this could fill in that gap.
Yeah. Good idea. Good idea.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and follow my co-hosts as well. My Linktree and all of our links will be in the description below. If you want more of my content, all my podcasts are available on YouTube as well as most podcast platforms. If you enjoyed this show, check out one of the other podcasts or check out my Patreon for bonus and extended episodes you won't find anywhere else. We'll be back soon with another brand new episode, so thanks for listening and we'll see you next time.